Hey tubers, well I'm coming at you, the 52-year-old dad's coming at you with a little bit different video today. One of the things that we were wanting to do, oh you know what, just let me show you, hold on one second. Okay, so I know that's a little barren, and there's a box over there, and we've got a bunch of Halloween crap that we're still trying to put up. Oh, and there's the dogs, Marley and Joe. But you'll notice there's one thing missing, a dining room table. So what are we gonna do about that? So what are we gonna do about that? Well, my wife and I, we looked around, and there's actually several places where we live that actually, she's always wanted a farmhouse table. And we've looked around, we've gone to a couple like arts and craft fairs and places like that. And we found a couple places that build them to order, but they're wanting like $1,600, $1,800. OMG. So, which overall is not too bad for a homemade piece that's made to your specifications and whatnot. But being that I have the tools that I need, why not just build my own? So I YouTubed several ideas of who I could go to, and I came across this YouTube page, so I'm gonna give them a shout out, called Shanty to Chic. Ooh, I'm kind of, hello. Shanty to Chic. And they have a really good design. If I can get these papers to not stick together. So let me show you this. Okay, so what's really cool is on their video, they went through and they made this, and really from what they said in their YouTube segment was that it may look difficult, but a table is actually it's one of the easier builds. So it may look kind of crazy. The legs, I think they got theirs from the Carolina Leg Company. I also got mine as well. What I'll do is in the video details down there somewhere, I will pull up the ones that we bought on Amazon, and I'll put that link in there because my wife really wanted some chunky legs. I think whenever I showed you the dining room, the empty dining room, I think you might have seen the box that had the legs in it, but I'll give you a more close-up view of that in a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this in a 3-part series. What I'm doing right now is over here you get your supply list of everything that you need. Now this is minus wood glue, and it's minus any of the tools that you need, and it's also minus the paint and stain and polyurethane, if I said that correctly, that you need to finish the table off with, and also any type of sanding that you're going to do. But as far as the basic supply list, it's right here. Then they are also so cool to give you a cut list, and they separate it by color, and then they've got it by inches, and then it also gives you the areas where the pocket holes are going to be, where you're going to put this bad boy together. So I just wanted to give you a quick breakdown of that. I've already cut up, here's all, and this is all the wood I need, the legs and this wood right here. Now what I'm doing is a little bit different, and we'll see how good of a thing it is. I'll show you in a minute. But I've already cut down these 2x4s and those 2x4s. I'm working on, these are 24-inch right here. So I need 2 of those. So I need to cut 1 more of these, and then I need to cut these 2x6s down. Now in the video, in the YouTube segment, what they did was they bought 2x6s, and you'll see that in the supply list right there. They bought 2x6s, and then they trimmed them down to where they had 3 of them down to 2x4s, ripped to a 4-inch width, and then these they took off 1 inch and they ripped it to a 5-inch width. So I don't know if it was that the 2x6s were cheaper at the time. I went to Lowe's and I actually I went ahead and just got the 2x4s. Now the ripping, what it does is it gives you a much sharper edge on the sides. I think that helps alleviate what they call them, crumb catchers. But these actually that I bought are pretty square on the edges. They're not too terribly rounded. So I went ahead and opted to go ahead and get the 2x4s, and then I think instead of having 2x5s being ripped down, I'm just going to go with the full 6 inches. What that'll do is, instead of having to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm going to have to use 6 of the 2x6s. And I think what that does is it gives me about an extra inch of lip around the table. So just makes the table top just about an inch bigger than what this design calls for. You know, if you want a little bit smaller table, you can definitely get them ripped down to 5 inches and you'll be good to go. So let's cut another board. And then my plan for this first phase is to do all my cuts, do all my pocket holes, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so as you can see here, I've gotten this board that was left over from one of the 70-inch cuts on the other 2x4. So this is going down to be a 24-inch cut. I think this is going to be the 2 end parts of the frame. And so, you know, I made my measurement, 24 inches. I marked it there. I brought my square here to give me a nice straight line to be able to line up with my table, with my miter saw. And then, you know, my grandpa and dad always told me, measure twice and cut once. So that's what we've done. All right, so I like to get it on there, and we want to get the saw to come down just right on the outside of this line, and then that'll give me a perfect cut. So always come down here a couple times, make a couple indentions. That looks pretty good. Got the safety of bolting it down. All right. Looks like we got a good cut. There you go, just like butter. All right, guys, we've made all of our cuts. So we have all the boards to the exact length that we need it to be. So now the next step is to put pocket holes in these so that you can attach the frame and then the tabletop together. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create pocket holes. If you don't know what that is, basically I've already done one of them. So you're able to drill in at an angle, and the screw goes in there, so it comes out into the other board, but it hides the screw, so you have a nice flat piece, and you can go from there. But this is how you create a pocket hole. How you do that is with a Craig jig. Now, I do not know what model this is.
I like the cutter.
You like the blue?
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping it might say the model number, but it does not. There's probably about 4 or 5 other types of Craig jigs out there. This is probably the second from the lowest as far as affordability. I really can't remember what I paid for this, but I got it at Lowe's, and this is really nice. They have some other ones that is a lot more adjustable, and then they have a real nice one where you just set what depth you want, like a 1.5 inch board, and it does everything for you. It's got the drill already inside of it, and you can go bam, 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 and get through a lot of pocket holes at one time. But with what I have is, and I'll show you an example, is you put it into the Craig jig, and then you just secure it, and then it comes with this drill bit that has a depth marker on it, so it really keeps everything nice and tight. And so on the both ends, we're going to have 2 holes.
This is... Oh, I got that on my leg.
And then that gives you your pocket holes. So I've got to do 4 on the side here, 2 more on the end, and then I've got probably about, I don't know, probably 30 or more for the 2x6s that I got to do, and then we'll go on to the next step. Thanks. All right, guys, so we have now finished all the cuts and all the pocket holes. So what that means is part 1 of this 3-part mini series is complete. We have now got everything prepped. I did realize that 2 little errors, you live and you learn, is that the 36 inch cut inboards, you really need to wait until afterwards to cut those. What the best thing to do, and I think if you watch the Shanty to Shake video, which I'll put down there, is you'll see that they waited until they put the top piece together and then measured that before cutting the end pieces. I did not do that. And what's weird is my math, and this is the crazy thing about wood, is you would think that 6 2x6s, which should be 6 inches across, so 6 times 6 is 36. Well, it's a little bit less than that. It winds up being really, because of how the wood's cut, it says 2x6, but it really comes down to being like, what, 2x5.5, something like that. So I put the boards that I had together on the ground just to kind of line them up, and it turns out that those were only about 33 inches. So I'm a couple inches off. So I need to get 2 more 2x6s to get another piece for the lengthwise of the table, and then have another piece to be able to then measure the tabletop to get a better fit for the inboards. So, just a little trial and error. So because of that, I've got just a couple more cuts, but otherwise, the pocket holes and the cuts are complete. So I'm going to quit rambling on, because you're probably tired of listening to this crap. And we're just going to move on to part 2. See you soon. Bye.